All right, everybody, we are back. We are set up and ready to go with our last run of the night. Banjo-Kazooie All Cheeto Visits by ad129. AD, take it away.
Alright. So yeah, I'm ad129, and I'll be running All Cheeto Visits, which is a category extension to Banjo-Kazooie. And I'll explain the goal once we get into the run. So yeah. Start the countdown.
Before you get started, do you mind throwing that live up again when you switched channels? I just noticed it went away. So that I can see.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
And maybe I should have warned you this before asking if you wanted to be a more active commentator. But I missed this one as a kid. So I know nothing about this game going in.
That's fair. Alright. So, I'm gonna count down. 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah. The premise of All Cheeto Visits is there's a character in Kazooie and in Tooie called Cheeto, and the point of Cheeto in Kazooie is to give you a cheat code to extend your amount of eggs and feathers and gold feathers. So there are 3 of them around the game, and the goal for this run is to visit all 3 of them as fast as possible. So yeah. So right now we're in Spiral Mountain, which is the first main world. This is where you basically will learn all the moves, but Bottle gives you an option to basically let you learn them instantly, which is why we're able to pretty much beat this level in a minute, which is great.
It feels pretty ahead of its time for a game to actually consider, like, hey, on replay you might not want to watch this again.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to be collecting, the first portion of the run will be mostly collecting items, since there are many obstacles that block our way. The main one is collecting Jiggies to open main worlds. So for Mumbo's Mountain you only need 1, and it's the first one that it gives you. And then you have others such as Treasure Trove Cove, which requires 2, and then it keeps increasing from then. So, now you see me using Talon Trot, which is a move you would learn normally in this level. And the reason why we have Talon Trot now is because I am using a trick called Furnace Fun Moves, or FFM for short. And basically, what it does is it gives you almost all the moves to pretty much, you don't have to, unlock the moves later, and it's pretty much like done just so you don't have to like backtrack more, since there are a lot of levels that you need to backtrack in. So yeah.
Is that just sort of inevitable in all categories of this game? Would you do a lot of backtracking, or is that a Cheeto thing?
Yeah, and normally if you do know FFM, which is also a category in Kazooie, there's at least 1 backtracking section. But FFM pretty much cuts like all backtracking out, which is pretty neat. So yeah.
You say this category is in the grand scope of...
No. Only it's very rare to get runners for N64 since it's like basically just collecting items. And like it's pretty boring category. But on Xbox it's a pretty exciting category because there's a trick on Xbox called forget the exact name, but demo something it's DDA for short, and basically you abuse the demo cutscene and you die in the demo, and you will be able to play inside the demo file, and you can do a run in that.
Interesting.
And it's used in any percent, and also all Cheeto visits.
I feel like you would expect the opposite. You know, if you're like, this game's available on N64 and Xbox, you'd be like, oh, so the N64 one's probably broken. It's like, no, actually, Xbox is broken.
Yeah. Funny thing about Xbox, a glitch was recently just discovered for any percent where it lets you duplicate notes. So it completely breaks any percent on Xbox in half.
I wonder why so many things broke when they ported it. It's so interesting.
Alright, we're coming up to the end of Mumbo's Mountain. This first section is pretty much mostly like trick heavy, and the second half is just more movement, so it's a good balance of both.
So you mentioned this category is a lot of collecting things.
Yes.
It was my understanding this game is what we would call a collect-a-thon. So do other categories do other stuff? It's not collection?
Yes. Oh, there are some categories where you're able to skip some of the collectibles, since some of them you only need to open like one level or like 2 note doors or something. But for like the standard categories, it's mostly collecting, because for 100% you obviously will collect everything. For any percent, you pretty much have to collect 810 out of the 900 notes in the game, because there's one final note door by the final boss that you need to open. And then there are other skips to skip jiggies, but some of them are like other two called big clips, and they're pixel and angle perfect, but we have setups for them.
Good.
So yeah.
Do you run any categories consistently?
I run 100% mainly, but I also run any percent because I was going for a world record for a multi-game marathon.
Cool.
So I had to learn any percent. But yeah, I'm mostly a 100% runner. That's why I have like skills for like part of this category, since it's mostly just muscle memory. Also, a trick I did there, normally you're supposed to get that with the transformation in Mumbos, but I abused the slope by pretty much fluttering above or like around the slope, and then it cancels out and you pretty much can do another jump on the slope, and it's enough to get that jiggy with the correct movement. Yeah, we will now be going into Treasure Trove Cove, which is many speedrunners' worst levels, because there are many hard things about it.
Are you included?
Yes. Some parts are cut out, luckily, but it's still a really hard level. Right. I forgot to mention for FFM that there are 2 moves that we do not collect, since it's pretty much better to get them during the run, and it's eggs and flying, and also gold feathers, but that's because you can't get them without flying. But the reason we don't get them in the FFM file is because when you first talk to Bottles, he gives you a 50 eggs and 25 feathers, which is pretty helpful because if you had to get them during the run, it would be pretty difficult to route in. So that's why we talk to him.
So is this the water level you get? Is there another more proper water level?
The next level's a more proper water level. Because it's
heartbreaking.
About 90% swimming.
Oof.
Which is...
How is swimming in this game? Is it...
It's...
like most games and water levels are hell, or...
It can be hell, but you can pretty much control your swimming, which is a really a good thing you can do, because if you couldn't control your swimming, that would be pretty much hell. Especially in that water level, since you do a lot of sharp turns. So yeah, I should go back to the collectibles that we need to collect. So I mentioned about the jiggies, but you also need to collect notes to open the note doors that we have. The highest note door we have to encounter in this run is the 450 door, which will require 5 levels to be completed. And then also Mumbo tokens, which are basically the way you transform into other characters, and you need 2 of them. And they're both to access Cheetos. And the second one also opens the second half of the game, which is pretty important, since the last Cheeto is in that last half.
How did this category, like, happen? was it purely just like, we want more ways to route out this game? What's another win condition we can come up with?
I don't know the exact history of it, but I just remember, like, people just wanted to, like, see, because there's also a category similar to this in TUI, where you, instead of, like, talking to, Cheetos, you use Cheeto, like the cheat he gives you to beat the game. So, like, I would assume that the BK community wanted to, like, have a similar category like that.
Do you use any of the cheats in this game, or is it purely just...
It's just purely just, like,
to talk to him? Thanks
My
for
first-
the school present. I'm never gonna use it.
My first run of this category, I did not know how to end time, so I thought the final part of the run was to input the codes, which was luckily not how you end the run, because that would not be fun. So yeah.
Oh, that's cool. The inside is actually. When you went inside, I thought it was going to be like a bigger on the inside kind of situation, but no, it actually follows like the shape of the shell. It's cool.
Yeah. I like it. These are my, like, the rare games are all my favorite to run. Because they've been my childhood game, basically, but also they're pretty fun to run.
Do you run other rare games?
Yeah, I run Banjo-Tooie 100% and any percent, and then I also run DK64 101%, which is my main category.
Nice. Is this built in like the same engine as your
Kind of.
similar?
The Tooie movement is almost similar to Kazooie, just like a few things that change. And in Tooie, you learn new moves, basically. So yeah.
Mind if I briefly put on my host hat?
Yep.
Alright, just gonna take a quick moment to remind everybody that we've got some incentives coming up. Right now we have a poll started for naming the farmer in our final run of the marathon Stardew Valley, which is already tomorrow night. That went fast. But it's still anybody's game right now, and that is a 4-player multiplayer, so there's going to be lots of farmers to be named. So there's a good chance if you donate for a name, get it in there. You can also vote for a poll for first thing in the morning. One of our Disneyland Adventures runners will be hosting a little bit of a sing-along with one of the songs in the run. And you can vote for which one of those you want. It's a very tight race right now. I'll Make a Man Out of You is leading at 86, but the other options are at 66 and 62 respectively. So it is very, very tight race over there. So if you have strong opinions about which of those you want to hear, now's the time, because that is the first run tomorrow morning. Are these letters always in the same place?
Yeah.
Thank God.
There are 2 routes to it.
That puzzle would be terrible if it was random.
Yeah. This is where you would input the Cheeto codes, by the way. And if, like, you don't normally have it memorized, so it's kind of like a struggle to, like, put in the codes. And that is the end of TTC.
So for a casual player, what is Cheeto?
Cheeto, he's basically a book, and he pretty much gives you cheat codes for to make, like, playing the game easier. So in this game, it's giving you a bigger, like amount of, like, items. So, like, normally the max amount of eggs you can get is 100, and he expands it to 200. The most feathers is 50 normally, but with Cheeto it gives you 100. And then for gold feathers, it's 10, but he expands it to 20. So it's very helpful, especially since at the end, normally you would, if you get all the notes, you can pretty much get, like, a full refill of all your items before the final boss. now we are entering Clanker's Cavern.
What was all that for?
For the Mumbo token up there. Which you could also do it technically later, like after this level, but I just did it for the swag. Since technically it's
you did
faster.
all of the jumping on top of it from the other side was to get this token on this side of the door?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
This is Clanker.
Oh my god.
First part of this level
it's a
is
grim mask of death of a creature.
Yeah.
Somehow like equally creepy as Unagi in SM64. That feels like a high bar.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the first scary section of the run, because if you drown, you instantly die. And then a thing about this game is if you die, you lose all your notes that you collected. Which is not ideal.
Oh. So you need, what, 400 something you said for
yeah,
the last one?
450.
Oh. Oh, he's nice.
I'm gonna wait for an extra bubble, just for safety.
That little fish gives you air. Fair enough. We've been wasting all this money on scuba equipment. What we really needed is just to swim above a fish and swallow when it exhales.
Yeah. Let's go.
Oh!
Normally takes 2 cycles. Right, now we are inside of Clanker.
JPEG. I don't know if you're watching chat. JPEG's like, I love that the game plays the "You Did It" music and you're still at the bottom of the sewer water. Yeah, it doesn't feel like you should be celebrating it. It's like, hey, can I go, like, breathe air first and then we can do the whole celebration?
Alright. This might be a good time. Predicting a 20-21 since I got 2 out of 3 skips or past parts of this minigame.
Nice.
Yep.
Let's see, is that, like, what you're looking for in a good run, or is that
Yeah.
average?
Like, a 20 is like above average from what I normally get.
Nice.
So I'll honestly take it.
Take those.
There's a little meme jump here that I'm gonna not go for until I get snowed.
Sounded like that decision was made in real time. That I'm going to not go for.
Yeah, I get it. It's a really precise jump. It does save time, but it's pretty hard.
I feel like it was very, very close.
That is awesome. That's surprisingly the first time I've collected a honeycomb, which is the health. Surprised I didn't collect one in TTC because I normally grab like a lot.
Does it lose any time if you pick one up? Or?
There's text box lag, but like you're supposed to be grabbing them anyways. That was so close. This whole level is based on cycles, and I barely missed that cycle. It only loses like 10 seconds, so it's not that bad.
The worst thing is when you finally get good enough that those cycles matter. You have a really tight cycle and you miss it. And you're just like...
Yeah.
Alright, reset, I guess. That's why I never get good at games, and then things like that don't matter. You just stay bad forever.
This level's also really hated because pretty much everything, like even like the beginning, there's 2 cycles you have to wait or you have to go for that are pretty precise. And like one of them is global and the other one I think is based when it's loaded in. I forget which one's which though. Because no one really cares enough to remember that.
So, the most important question for me with every N64 game is, can you beat this game using another game yet?
No, not yet, sadly.
Heartbreaking.
I don't doubt it's possible with this game, especially if stop and swap is a thing that almost happened.
Yeah?
So, like, if something could happen with breaking the game completely with a different game.
I love stop and swap categories, so... Anytime I'm around an N64 run, that's like my first question. It's like, y'all got any more of that stop and swap?
Oh no. This crap's gonna be a troll. Yeah. Normally, a thing to make this room faster is you go onto the pipe and you poop out eggs to kill him, and you stand on top of the Chicky location and you save like 5 seconds. But sometimes he just decides to not be nice and he just
go somewhere where you can't hit him.
Yeah. Which kind of sucks, but it's whatever. This is the final section of Clankers, and it's also the scariest. Not in this category since you don't go for the honeycomb, which is right there, like above where I am right now. But because you basically get the final Jiggy in here with like one air bubble left. And one air bubble is 10 seconds. So it's like, I remember one of my 100% runs died because I could not grab the honeycomb in time, and it killed me right before the Jiggy. So yeah. Right.
But y'all just take the death there.
Yeah. It's faster death warp.
Makes it a little less scary.
Yeah. Alright. We are done with the collecting part, technically.
Wow.
I am now going to be using my own route for the levels instead of the 100% routes.
So until this point was basically the same as Hundo?
Pretty much. I skipped some slow stuff out.
You just go hang out with Cheeto a few times.
Yep. And next level actually is our first Cheeto encounter, but only after we beat him, or after we beat the level.
Oh, I was gonna say, I didn't know we had to fight Cheeto too. It's like, he'll let you cheat, but only if you prove yourself in combat is a tough sell.
So yeah. But yeah, there are two versions of Banjo-Kazooie on NTSCU. I have the slowest version, which is 1.1, which basically there's like, it's kind of similar to 1.0 except for in Mumbo's Mountain, you can't do the Ticker's Tower with, like, you can't slope abuse in there for some odd reason. You can slope abuse it everywhere else, just not in that area. And I pretty much cut it out of this run since you need to, like, pretty much get as many Mumbo tokens as you can, and that requires 5. So, and you just get backups like everywhere. Like here, this is like a massive slope abuse, since you don't have to take the damage to go into this area.
So that center is supposed to be like it locks you out of the area until you have a certain amount of health, kind of thing?
There's a move that you learn in BGS or Bubble Loop Swamp.
So are you telling me this is a Metroidvania? Is that a hot take?
Yeah. But yeah, you do learn a level in this, a move in this level that you would, I don't know how you would do it in casual playthrough, but I guess you would learn it, leave the level open, the things in that area, and then go back in here, get the crocodile, and then do stuff, like, go, like, get the cheetah in that area. I don't know.
Happens to the best of us. Where you're like,
I
I've been
don't know.
speedrunning this too long, I don't actually know the casual route. I always get really excited when somebody on Twitch is streaming like a blind playthrough of a game I speedrun, because it's always fun to watch sections of the game.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, that is in there. Huh. Cool. And if I host briefly.
Yep.
Alright, I'm turning my hosting hat back on to remind people that we also have some targets. We have some incentives coming up. Pretty much first thing tomorrow morning, we start out with that. Excuse me. we start out tomorrow with that Disneyland Adventures Co-op Blackout Bingo, which probably my sleeper pick of the marathon for runs that when I saw the submission, I was like, I don't know that I want to watch 3 hours of Disneyland Adventures. And then I watched 3 hours of Disneyland Adventures. I was like, oh my god, I want to watch that like 20 more times. It was so much fun. And you too can watch that run. But right after that 3 hours, Fez starts. And if you want to see those Fez runners replace their sprites with Sonic the Hedgehog and get some more 2D Sonic representation in the marathon, we're about $35 away from that incentive. And then a couple hours after that, we're trying to get a bonus campaign run for Left 4 Dead 2, which likely be, according to the runners, a third world record at Multithon, because there is one run on the leaderboard and it's well under their latest PB. They just don't have an official recording yet. But that is still world record on Multithon. So if we get the chance to run that, they will have a VOD to submit to SRC.
You don't need to do this. My any percent muscle memory just kicked in.
It's the worst. I got so stressed yesterday. I was hosting during the Turnip Boy run, and I run Hundo. But I don't run any percent in that game, and like at one point when one of the runners skipped past one of the collectibles, I was like, oh my god, dude, you skipped! I'm like, oh wait, no, you're cool.
I'm gonna get health for safety. I'm gonna go for one of the skips. Also, this session's like pretty dangerous. Alright. This is our first time talking to Mumbo. So yeah. Mumbo will now transform me into a crocodile to fit the theme of this
Cool with him. Is this helpful or hurtful?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Alright. I'm gonna be collecting the final notes of this level, and then I'm gonna be done with this level. We're gonna go into my favorite level of the run, which is gonna be Freeze Easy Peak. So it completely diverges from any of the routes for 100%. So yeah, this is Cheeto. He's a book, and this is our first encounter with him. So that's 1 out of 3. I think for this one, he gives you the blue eggs, Cheeto. And then
You don't actually use it
No.
in the run. Ha.
I think there is also another category extension where you do use cheats, but they're not Cheeto. They're the normal cheats that are in the game, which is fun because you're only allowed to use 3 of them. Because Grunty will delete your file if you use more than 3.
If you use more than 3, it'll just punish you.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So, are there differing opinions in the community about which 3 are the fastest, or is it like do the run but with these 3 cheats?
I think it's like decided, since I would say it's because the cheats are from refill your items to open this level, and it literally is the last level, which requires the most things to open.
So that's probably a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And like, make your choice. Item refills or just beat the game. Just be done. I don't know.
370, so I will need to collect 80 notes before I death warp.
So with checking the number there and such, is there much of this that includes like on the fly routing, or is this pretty much?
I have a document that I'm reading off of, but depending on your counts, it can be on the fly. That is awesome. Kazooie movement is very cool.
Video games are fun, I swear.
This is totally my favorite game out of the 3.
So is this your favorite level?
Yeah. The reason is later on, there's a trick that I'm going to do, and I hopefully will get. That it will look like that it will kill me, but it won't. And you'll see what I do.
When you first jumped up there and looked over at this little, like, floating... Oh, it's a snowman, I guess. I thought the buttons on the side were eyes for a split second, and you had, like, turned around and there was just some, like, ungodly horror floating in the middle of the level. Like, what is happening? But no, it's just a little snowman.
Yep. You're climbing down the scarp, which is opposite of what we're supposed to do casually.
Does the game increase your speed on downward slopes?
Yeah. If you do jumps, which it's optimal, but it's also pretty difficult. Since there's a specific time you should jump after doing because you see how I'm creating dust. There's an optimal time to jump. I don't know it specifically, but yeah. This is the scary section. I still have to collect chickies, I think. Gotta read my route. Or just get one. Alright, I guess that's it. I'm gonna double check my counts, case. Yep, alright, we should be good.
Hooray! Was
Right.
that the death trick?
I pretty much like had to get more notes than usual, so I didn't utilize it, sadly. It's a cool trick.
routed
I
death.
really wish I could demonstrate it, but sadly it didn't fit the route. So yeah.
Showbiz. So that was just a standard death war.
Yeah, I could show it off at the end because I'm currently on PB pace by a lot.
Oh, hype.
So I can definitely show it off, especially if my estimate's like an hour.
Nice.
Currently, I am on 53-minute pace.
Let's go.
So yeah.
Super hype.
And the final area is really close to the level we were just in, so
Nice.
that's also a benefit. Oh, in fact, we collected 2 extra. Okay.
Fair enough.
All right.
So I'm guessing that wasn't how you were supposed to get up there.
No. It was a.
The intended gameplay isn't damage boosting onto the ledge. Shocking.
No. Yeah, the intended strat is there's a platform that can jump up from the water, but that fish can boost you up like just enough to get onto that second platform. Okay. Alright, we're going to be entering the final level, which is Mad Monster Mansion. This is also one of my favorite levels, not in this run, but in like 100%, because the routing is very cool. And as one of my favorite characters, because he's a pretty much an organist, and I'm a musician, and that pretty much explains why I like him. I'm a musician. I like musicians in video games.
Fair.
Open that gate, which is vital for this, because if you don't open that, you pretty much have to de-transform and also open that. It's very slow, and I have done that in runs, and it cost me like 2 minutes.
Ugh. Was that checking your totals or a pause buffer?
I was checking my mumble
Gotcha.
count.
I couldn't tell if
because-
you were like getting your getting just a little more distance on the jump with a pause buffer, or it's just like, am I good?
Yeah. Nah, I'm just checking because I sometimes always undershoot here and always get like one less. So I just have to make sure. And now this is just open the second half of the game and get final Cheetos. and we'll be done.
And you get to do it as a pumpkin.
Yep.
That was a short-lived life as a pumpkin.
Don't worry, we're gonna go back to the pumpkin. Just for the second Cheeto. Normally in 100% you would reset there, since it's slow to like transform back and leave this area. So we just reset, and the game saves per loading zone. So it's the best to just reset.
Why don't you do it here?
Yet there's a Cheeto in where I'm going next. And you can only access it as 2 characters, the pumpkin or the bee. Because
so
you can...
Cheetos not count toward hundo completion?
No.
You don't have to do it? Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm always fascinated by how many games have like caveats to 100%. It's like, this is the 100% category. So you do everything in the game? No.
Okay.
No, we don't.
Okay. So that section is really scary because it's tight movement, and I did
You
it
made
fast.
it look easy.
Yeah.
I did not
It's
know that
not.
you were in duress.
Alright.
In
and
distress? Under duress? But whatever.
Then... Oh. Alright.
It's 2 a.m.
Intentional death warp here. Just to... We can not do that again.
Missed
And
opportunity to freak everybody out.
And conveniently, we're at 0 lives. So if I die here, I'm game over. Which is not going to be good.
Is that normally how it goes?
Yeah. Alright. So we go back here, and it's now underwater because of that water switch. And we're going to be activating 2 more. And one of them is under a timer. Yes, I got it. Okay. So there's a trick there you can do where instead of floating up to the surface, if you talent trot at the right as you press a switch, you can just stay at the height you were, and it saves a lot of time.
So normally you would go up with water and then have to dive back down again?
Yeah.
Nice.
Right. Alright, time is coming up.
Oh, wow.
Alright, time in 3, 2, 1, and set. Time. 52. That's a PB by 3 minutes.
By 3? Jeez, GG.
This run was really good.
We always take those. We will take a 3-minute PB every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like
I'm
you said,
not-
you're pretty far underestimate if you want to
Yeah.
run to that level while you do your shoutouts and such, and then
Yeah.
show off that trick.
yeah. So yeah, I would like to shout out Oxalin, who was the original runner of this category. I believe he's also the creator. And like, I think he's still currently the world record holder. I don't remember. But also, shoutouts to pretty much the whole BK community, because we're just such a a loving community, and like we support like each other a lot, and it gives us this broken game to run, and we love like every second of it. All right. Alright, that's everyone who I should shout out, I think. Ooh, no. That's okay. Alright, so normally with the routing, I would do this section like last, because this is what the trick is. There we go. Pretty much what happens is there's a text box like there, and like if you fall, it pretty much cancels the fall damage that would happen, and from that height with 5 health it would instantly kill you.
Yeah. No, I figured you were about to take fall damage because he changed to like the arm waving animation, and I'm like, yeah, like how fall damage does. That's it's fascinating. Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much for a great run. Congrats again on the PB, man. Super hype.
Thank you for having me.
Do you have any other thanks for shoutouts before you head on out?
No. I think we're good.
Well, thanks so much for closing out the night. Congrats again. And with that, everybody, we will throw it over to our intermission screen, and we'll get ourselves set up for a raid. Go hang out with somebody.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for another wonderful day. I can't believe day 3 is already over. Well, we just have one left. But last day, best day, as they say. There's some really, really good stuff lined up for tomorrow that I'm very excited about. But in the meantime, some of us are going to get some rest, and some of us might still want to watch some things. So we're going to send this party over to uh, a community event that's going on right now over on the RPG Limit Break channel. They're doing a Xenoblade Chronicles series community relay race. So that sounds super fun, and whatever they're doing right now involves some cute fluffy thing. So I'm sold. I'm gonna go watch this fluffy thing run around while I go to bed. Thank you again, everybody, for hanging out. Thank you so much for all of the generosity. I cannot believe we're at $2,636, and there's a whole day left. It's absolutely incredible. I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow, how far we can take this. But until then, I will see y'all over at RPG Limit Break for the rest of the evening. Thanks so much. It looks like we are having some technical difficulties again. I don't know why Twitch doesn't like raids from us this evening, but Twitch is telling me I'm not allowed to send y'all on an official raid. So we're gonna bring it back old school. We're gonna bring it back to the 2012, 2013 speedrunning days. We're gonna put the raid link in chat. Y'all can meet us over there. Otherwise, meet us in the morning for some Disneyland adventures. Either way, hope you have a lovely rest of your evening.